Hey guys, you Shake Shack, and in today I wanted to talk about the open world trend of 2015. Now, if you don't know what that means, a ton of open world games that should not have been open world games have come out as open world games. What do I mean by that? Let's take the infamous example of MGS5. An open world game, to keep it alive, should have, a living world, maybe a living economy, just villains not scattered everywhere, just a world with life, and it makes you want to explore after or when you're in the beginning of a game or mid game, where you're just like, oh my god, this world's fantastic, let me go and explore and do some side quests. Games that do this well are The Witcher 3 and Fallout 4. Now, a few games that do this okay would be Batman Arkham Knight. Arkham City, I think, was much better done, but you have to remember that in the Arkham games, well, for Arkham Asylum, it was kind of open level. I don't think it was big enough to be called a world, but it's sort of open. Actually, no, it is open world. There's just nothing to do after the Prime game. Then in Arkham City, they're like, okay, we're gonna have this be here, this be here. We're gonna have an Easter egg here. That we're gonna have the Riddler challenges actually be fun and entertaining to do instead of Asylum. And then in Arkham Knight, they were like, okay, we're going to give you guys the Batmobile. We're going to give you guys skyscrapers to finally go off of, which I absolutely love. I just love jumping off skyscrapers for some reason. Probably because I'll never do that in real life, but that's neither here nor there. So MGS5, how did I want to bring this into the conversation? MGS5's open world is atrocious. Nothing to do. Very minimal to no Easter eggs. I'm sure maybe if people explore, they will find more Easter eggs, but I'm not inclined to waste any more time than what I already have in that game, because you know what, I played Peace Walker, and if you want to know more about my thoughts on MGS5, click right here. So also another thing about MGS5 is, there's just the world, the open world is just bland, and you find yourself walking around, and one of the comments of the video, shout out to whoever said this, but he said Walking Simulator 5 exposed, because you spend a lot of the time walking around or on your horse just going around, and oh wait, you find an enemy patrol base. But I'm not trying to rant too much about this, and I feel like if MGS5 was an open level game, which, a prelude to the other games or the older games, they had more of an impact on story, or more of a stress on story versus the just, hey, we have an open world and that's going to be the big part of this game, open world recruiting and making sure your base is doing well. That was kind of the big focus on that game, and the whole Venom Snake like switch up thing for the future events of MGS. But my point that I'm trying to say is, I feel like games like that might be better off as open level. And by open level, another phenomenal game that I think did open well very well, that also got a remake, like a remaster that I think people should pick up, is the Dishonored game. So if you have played Dishonored, I was about to troll everybody and say Thief, but y'all know how I feel about that game. Actually, I bought it for like $2, so I should probably play it, but no. Dishonored. Let's talk about Dishonored real quick. So Dishonored was a very alive world. There were people everywhere. There was the plague around. There were side quests, multiple ways to go about your mission. And another good open level game, now that I think about it, which is also a stealth game, is Splinter Cell Conviction or Blacklist. When you have level design as phenomenal as that, you gotta talk about that in a video. So that's exactly what I'm doing. There are multiple ways to go about taking out your foes. There aren't side quests, but in Dishonored, when you have side quests, you don't want to kill this guy, but if you get rid of them without killing them through a side quest, then you'll get more points, and there's just different ways to take on the game. Furthermore, if you go to explore around the level, pick up rooms, upgrade your powers, and it's not as mystical as that is in Splinter Cell. Obviously, there are just more avenues, different ways to go about missions, and you could argue that there are different ways to go about missions in MGS5, but I've done it all. I've done it all in the first 5 or 6 hours. Then I got to the 30-hour point. I was like, you know what, fuck this game. So the last thing I wanted to talk about though was how I think games should not be open world. Open world does not mean better. When you construct an open world game, like I said earlier, you need to have a living world. Things need to change eventually. You need to have Easter eggs. You need to find a way to keep a player interested in your world and actually want them to explore. And you can't just fall on this backbone like, they love all of our old games, so what's not going to make them want to explore in this one? It's just kind of bullshit. But that's a little bit of my thoughts on the whole open world trend. I don't think that every game should be open world. Every game will not succeed if it's open world. And lastly, open levels sometimes can be even better. Can you imagine if MGS5 was an open level game with a bigger stress on story or a bigger emphasis? I think that'd be a much better time. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this. Be sure to follow me at Twitch, Twitter, Kind of a ramble on this video, but it's just been this trend that everybody's like, oh, it's open world, that means it's good. No. Anyways, tell me what you guys think about it. You should check it out and take it easy, guys.